How to wholesale 100 houses per year. Guys, it's Rick Yin, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through step by step how to step up your game to flip 100 plus houses in 1 year. So you guys hear this all the time. People talking about flipping 50, 75, 100, 150, 200 houses, and you're probably thinking, how in the heck do they do that? Well, I've got 19 years experience in doing it, and I've done exactly that, and I'm going to walk you through the basic steps by steps on how to step up your game to do 100 houses plus. But before we get into the video, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to go ahead and smash that like button, hit that subscribe button to continue to receive the absolute best up-to-date wholesaling information from myself and Zach. If you ask yourself the question, I want to flip 100 houses plus per year. Well, if your plan is to do that, you need to have a game plan going into it. Number one, you have to think, how am I going to generate that many leads to do it? And really, it only boils down to 4 lead generation sources that you have to understand. Number one, cold calling. Number 2, SMS text blasting. Number 3, RVM. And number 4, direct mail. For you to reach 100 plus houses, you will have to utilize all 4 of these lead generation strategies. And when you do that, you got to be prepared to spend some money, number one. Number 2, you are going to have to build a team. There is no way you can do 100 or more houses by yourself. I'm here to tell you it's just not going to happen unless you literally never sleep and you can like duplicate yourself 4 times. So you're going to have to come up with extra money to do the marketing campaign for the 4 sources we just talked about. And number 2, you're going to have to develop a team. And developing the team can be some of the most difficult challenges when you're scaling a wholesaling business to flip 100 plus houses per year. But before we get into this, I'm going to tell you, before you decide to do the 100 or more houses per year, let's talk about what you can maximize while you're getting started in wholesaling, or if you're just doing wholesaling now, how can you maximize it with just yourself and then maybe a partner or like a spouse or somebody you're working with, a friend, a partner, whatever it is. So I always tell you is earn a net of $250,000 operating by yourself. I didn't say it's easy, but it's extremely doable. When I first got started, past my first year, 250 was actually pretty easy to do a net. And the beauty of that is I didn't really have to manage a team. I did work with some VAs, and I worked with people that I partnered up on deal, but I never had a office and I never had a staff. And you can easily do 250. The top working by yourself, in my honest opinion, wholesaling is about $400,000. Past that, you're going to drive yourself absolutely bonkers and you're going to make huge mistakes and you're going to have absolutely no free time. You guys know how I feel about that. I got into wholesaling to really maximize my financial freedom and even more, get more time back for myself after working the corporate grind for 12 plus years. You've got to ask yourself before you get into flipping 100 houses plus, what do you really want? Because when you're going to develop a team and you're going to run a big marketing budget, is going to occupy a lot of your time. Now, here's the good news. If you can master it and get to the other side, you can have some great financial rewards. But very rarely in wholesaling is it an operation where you can plug and play and just walk away. So if you're up to it, I'm going to walk you through on how to do it. So we started, I want to get you to a net $250,000. Okay. So if you plan on doing the solopreneur and maybe you're just working with one other partner, maybe a family member or a business partner you're doing with it, how do you get to 250? Well, you got to break down a very simplistic income goal when you're going to do it. So here's what I broke down. You can do, as a solopreneur, easily 20 deals in a year. I mean, that's less than 2 deals a month. Okay. And let's say you're going to do an average of 15 to 17K a deal. Like some will be more, some will be less. And so if we did 17 at 20, that puts us at a gross of 340,000, and that leaves you 90,000 to pay for help and give you a marketing budget. Very easily to do on 20 deals. And If you want, you can take that same 20 deals. After that, turn it into 25. Instead of doing it at 17, you can push it to 20 to 25, and you can do more quality versus quantity. And that's the one thing that I can't decide for you. I've done them both. So I've had a big staff. I've had a ginormous marketing budget, and I choose quality over quantity because I can do what I want whenever I want. And it's about a lifestyle that I'm looking for. Now, if you want to do the 100 plus houses, let's break it down from there. So guys, 250 is net by yourself, is very attainable. And if it's going to give you a ton of free time with your family and let you do like month-long vacations, then knock yourself out with it. And you can mostly hire VAs and some part-time help to help you get through some of the very busy months. So sometimes you have a busy month, you want to get some help. The problem is most of us, we don't want to hire an employee for $50,000 a year if you don't have enough income coming in to do that. So 250, if you really maximize it, you can get up to 400. And in my opinion, you just take your average spreads and try to increase them from 15 to like 30%. And let me tell you, if you could net $400,000 without working full time, with working 3 to 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday, I'd take that all day long. So many people are selling you on these big giant team ideas, and they do work. There is a huge learning curve on it, and it usually takes about 2 years to get a good team dialed in. Let's talk about doing 100 houses a year, and I'll walk you through step by step on how you're going to do it. Remember on the other one, we talked about doing 20 deals a year by yourself. So now, obviously, we're going to have to do more quantity to make this work. Let's break down a goal for you and figure out how to make it work. So remember, the more quantity you do, the less profitability typically is going to come with them, because you have to turn these leads over and you have to get out. You have to get every dime you can out of them. So some will have $1,000, some will have $35,000, and some might have 50. But on average, if you average just $10,000 per deal, because remember, you're going to be doing a lot of assignments in there, how many deals would you have to do to get to just that $1 million mark? Well, $10,000 per deal, you do 100 deals per year, that grosses you $1 million. Now, you can turn that 10 grand into 15 grand, it'd be 1.5 million. You could turn the 15 into 20, it would be 2 million. You kind of follow how to do it. You simply start with that one goal mindset so you understand the numbers. If you don't understand the numbers, you can't flip 100 houses in a year. So we already talked about the 4 marketing channels you're going to utilize: cold calling, SMS text blasting, RVM, make sure it's legal in your state, and then direct mail. And I could sit here and do an entire video just on like a marketing budget. On average, on marketing, you are probably going to average in the beginning anywhere from 10, which would be on the low side, to 15% of your gross revenue towards marketing. So if your goal is to do $1 million, you're going to wind up being about $150,000 if you're just starting out, and $100,000 if you're really good at it, because you learn from your previous mistakes. That's number one. Your first hire you want to do when building a team to do 100 houses plus a year is about lead generators. You're going to have to go find people. And by the way, guys, lead generation only works if you've mastered it yourself first, meaning you've fought in the trenches, you've done cold calls yourself, you've done the SMS text blast and the RVMs, you've done some direct mail, because you need to understand how to manage them through their KPIs. And if you don't understand it, you're going to have to rely on a third party to tell you how to do it. And if they're not doing the business, I just find that you get bad information. You wind up spending a ton of money. If you're a solopreneur, I concentrate on lead generation in my first year or two. Once I know and I master that, now I want to bring somebody on my team to help me maximize the lead generation. So if you're going to do a multiple of 4 to 5 times your current marketing, you have to have help. You can potentially have thousands of leads, and I'm telling you up front right now, you can actually outspend your lead source. What does that mean? It means you got more leads coming in than you can actually get back in contact and efficiently work through it, and I don't want you to do that. Hire people to help you with lead generation. It's the most important piece you do. I don't care if they're VAs, if you get some part-time help. Here's the beauty of these people is they don't have to be in an office. So while we're talking about offices, it's up to you if you want to get an office. Flipping 100 houses plus a year with a virtual staff is actually 100% doable. It's been proven time and time again. An office does make things a little bit more convenient for you, but it also requires you to actually show up, and it's going to eat into your budget. So I prefer not to do offices because I want my employees out there talking to motivated sellers, not sitting in an office. And there's easy tools you can monitor their phone use and their KPIs on lead generation. Lead generation is actually your most important hires by far. You build that up. And the idea is when your plate starts to get full, you add on team members to help manage your workload. So the second hire I'm going to do on my team is going to be a marketing specialist or an assistant. And a lot of times those wind up being the exact same person. This is a person that you have to rely on a lot. You know, sometimes people like to separate the two. An assistant's going to help you do all the daily tasks that you have to get done, marketing schedules, paying vendors, keeping you on your marketing budget. They're so intertwined. It's really, really important you get a person that's in charge of this, and you can actually give them a base salary, and then you can build bonuses in based on monthly goals, income goals, and obviously quarterly and yearly goals. And this has got to be a sharp person that has a huge buy-in to the bottom line of your business. Number one, lead generations. Number two, we're looking at an assistant or / marketing specialist. I'm going to tell you right there, that is a start of a team. And that just might be 2 people. It might be 6 people. But that's where I'm putting all my focus when I put my team together to flip 250 houses plus a year. And you have to start in that order, because if you do it in the opposite order, you have to make those marketing dollars count. So if you're going to spend 10 to 15% of your gross on marketing, you've got to make sure you're sifting through absolutely every lead and you're doing massive, massive follow-up. The biggest challenge you're going to have with these team members, I'm going to tell you up front because I've been through this battle, is learning how to manage people and learning how to hire quality people. So here's my little tip on hiring people. I don't like Craigslist. I don't like Indeed. I don't like all these services. Find good people that you would kill to have in your business and let them know when they're ready to really work with you and make a commitment, you'll be there for them. Now, you might have to wait 3 to 6 months for that person, but I'm going to be honest with you. When you get them, it's like life-changing. I've hired more people off Craigslist, Indeed, what's that, Monster Job. It's like a 98% failure rate. So part of it was me, but I need people that have huge buy-in and commitment. And with this business, I'm teaching to work in the virtual world. It's very challenging for people who have never done it before. So keep that in mind. If you have to add the third level of your team, I would go with a transaction coordinator. And sometimes that's your marketing or your assistant person. They move into that position and then replace their person. They're basically the quarterback of the team. They keep the entire process flowing through, and they are absolutely critical. They are definitely not required up front. You are going to be the transaction coordinator until it becomes so overwhelming. You have to have somebody help you, and trust me, it is an awesome problem to have. The last hire you're going to do is going to be an acquisitions manager. What? Wait a minute, Rick. I'm supposed to hire someone to do acquisitions up front. I'm telling you, your acquisitions manager is the most important critical job in your entire flipping company's business, and it needs to be you, hands down. I'd rather you outsource everything because you're the person who's going to impact a deal that's going to be worth $10,000 versus $30,000 on the words you speak. Now, when you get to a level and you find somebody in the company that demonstrates the level of sales that you can get, and remember, they're only going to be about 60 to 70% as efficient as you, then you can start working that person in, make sure they develop that trust. One of the biggest lies that's told to everybody on these wholesaling scaling is, get an acquisition manager, do this, do that. It's the highest turnover position in the company, hands down, because everybody tries to pull somebody off the street. They tell them they're going to make $150,000 a year, and then you bury them in leads. They don't have the skill sets, and it's a struggle for 3 to 6 months. And then when they get there, a lot of times they feel like they can be your competitor. So the last one I want you to hire is a acquisitions manager, and you're going to have to find someone that has huge buy-in in your company that wants to stay for the long haul. Do not hire anybody that just wants to make a quick paycheck. They are the worst hire you could ever have for this position. After that, you can hire a dispositions manager. I never worry about this because it's actually easily handled within the company. And to be honest with you, we use a realty company, which I own, and I let them handle about 70% of our dispo, and then the other 30% we handle it internally between the transaction coordinator and the marketing specialist and assistant. So dispo, in my opinion, is the easiest because you guys already do it naturally, and you can easily teach someone to do that. So take my warning on the acquisition manager is the highest turnover position. It's the most vulnerable position. And if you lose your acquisitions manager, you have to start all over again, and it's a 3 to 6 month process. So I want you to do that one last. Now, you have a marketing budget. You have a team. It is a huge responsibility on your shoulders. These people depend on you, and you're going to have to step up your game. So what I need you to do is just go out and get the book Traction. It's a simple book, and they're going to go over a system called EOS. I'm going to let you find it out in the book and what it is. And basically, it's going to teach you on how to have effective meetings, how to talk to employees, and how to get down to business and let employees feel like they're valuable. And I'm going to be honest with you, you have to have a meeting on a daily basis, Monday through Friday. If you let stuff fester and grow, it just kills your company. Get it over with. Have the daily input meetings. Now, the good news is these are very short meetings and they're precise and it's extremely efficient. But I will tell you, by implementing the techniques I learned in Traction with the EOS system, the economies of scale were phenomenal, and I learned how to have a meeting. You can do the small chit-chat stuff at night, in the morning. I mean, you can do it on weekends, but there's no room for that in the meeting. And once you do that, you're going to learn to write down your SOP. SOP is just an acronym for Standard Operating Procedures. And this is a living document that's constantly updated, edited, and changed. And it's just your ability to document your entire business's process and duplicate it. So think about McDonald's. If I get a burger in South Florida, or I go to California and New York, it should be the exact same system, maybe a little bit different price. And that's what you want to accomplish by scaling with a team. You can easily flip 100 houses plus a year. You just got to decide what's the best fit for you. For most of you that are watching this video, I implore you to get the net $250,000 with you and maybe your significant other, a partner, a family member, and get there. And I'm telling you, you can push it up to 4, but once you hit 4, you're going to hit a brick wall because there's a limit in what you can make in flipping smaller houses on a regular basis. And all you have to do is break down your goal. If you're going to do 100 houses and you do 10K houses, that's a gross $1 million. You work your numbers backwards. And what you'll find is what your gross is versus your net and how much time you have to put into it. And after doing it 19 years, I found a way that's best for me. For about 5 years, I did grind the 250 plus houses a year. And it just gets to a point where to me, it's about quality of life. So I'm very happy with what I make. It's not about how many houses you flip, guys. It's where do these houses get you in your life? Do you get more time with your family, more time with your friends? Are you able to connect with your son, your daughter, your wife, whatever it is? I don't want you flipping hundreds of houses to drive yourself nuts. You don't have to do that. But if you want to do it and you love doing that stuff, I think everybody should try it once. But it takes time to grow a team, and it takes time to get through the learning curve. And if you have the stamina to do it, knock yourself out. The last piece of advice I'm going to remind you again, you don't need an office to do this. An office does make communication a little bit better, but for the most part, I think you can build a virtual team. That's how I work. And I've owned and leased probably 10 offices in my career, and I'm finally happy to the point where I do own one office. I'm fine with it because it produces income and I'm good for it, and it runs other businesses. So guys, tell me what you think. Are you all in flipping 100 plus houses a year? Are you ready to work with a team? Are you ready to work with a 6-figure budget for marketing? Because I can tell you when I did it, it scared the heck out of me. But man, did I learn a lot in 2 years. And then the 2 years after that, I made a ton of money. But to each his own. And I don't care which way you want to do it, but if you're going to do the 100 plus houses a year, understand you got to really step up the marketing budget, and you absolutely have to build a team. There's no way you or just one other person can build that type of business by yourself. But guys, this is just my experience. I'm sharing it with you. I think there's a lot of hype with people talking about scaling up businesses, and I want you to understand the truth and how it works. It is about a 1.5 to 2 year learning curve. So I want you to understand that. So guys, let me know what you think about flipping 100 plus houses a year. Is it doable? Do you think it's worth it? Do you guys love spending 10, 12 hours a day doing it? Because that's what's going to take in the beginning to do it. Let me know. I would love to hear it, guys. Do me a favor before you get off this video, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and continue to receive the absolute best wholesaling information available on the internet today for you. Guys, this is Rick Ginn with Flip with Rick, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.